So our next speakers, I'm going to announce two of our speakers at once, is Steph, pronouns she, her, from Steph's Place, and Claire Prosho, pronouns she, her, from Steph's Place and Claire's Transgender Talks. Thank you! Woo! Thank you for coming and supporting trans and non-binary rights at the Not Safe to Be protest. I'm Steph. I'm a 70-year-old white trans woman. I'm wearing a multicoloured floral dress that come from Marks and Spencer's, not Monsoon, and my pronouns are she, her. With me today is Claire, Steph's Place senior investigative journalist, and will explain what work we do, and their sincere thanks to Trans Activism UK for inviting us. So, about 2 years ago, I launched the Steph's Place website. At that time, it had just one purpose: to heighten trans visibility by demonstrating that we are just ordinary people, but faced with extraordinary challenges. I never imagined that 2 years later, a fantastic team would be gathered around me, that we would grow into an organisation that somehow became a bit of a voice for the trans community. You may well be aware that on Friday I was on Radio 4 on a 57-minute programme live speaking to 600,000 people, and I hope that I done you proud raising the trans voice. But although most of our team are, let's say, mature, we think young. And of course, even decades on, we all share suffering. Suffering which should be decreasing, but it is not. We all know it should be safe to be me, but it's not. Because this Tory government, some members who have shades of fascism have made certain of that. They have failed us regarding healthcare, they have failed us over GRA reform, and they have failed us over the conversion therapy ban. This current This Conservative government are indeed all-round failures, toxic and frankly inhumane, even unwilling to bring in laws for their non-binary siblings to put an X on their passport. Insults are thrown at us daily by the press, suggesting that we are a gender ideology. But looking at you today, all I see is real people. In 2020, the Times ran 300 anti-trans stories, invariably cloaking transphobia under false narrative of women's rights, not caring who they hurt. More recently, the Daily Mail ran 5 trans hostile stories in one day, with the sole intent to demonise a tiny minority of people. And to you alleged Christians in America, who will be watching this speech from your ivory towers, who in reality pick and choose which parts of your book you want to believe, who propagate hate and fascism in the UK, pretending that you support free speech, I have one simple message: you ain't no Christian. True Christians do not take away bodily autonomy from women. Abortion is a woman's right to choose. Nor do they take away trans health care or inspect the genitals of a kid in Florida before knocking a ball about on a field hockey game. Trans rights are human rights. But despite those gender critical Tories, the American-based haters and what the media throw at us, despite the fact that here today are camera crews looking to paint us in the worst possible light, to plaster all over social media and beyond, I can absolutely assure you that we will win. That one day, trans liberation will arrive, and that reason is you. The simple truth is, we have the numbers. Every day, there are more of us. Right now, trans people are the most marginalised group in the country, but it won't always be like this. But we must keep fighting. And what can you do if you're not trans to help us? You can help by using pronouns to show that you're an ally of trans and non-binary people. You can help by calling out transphobia, the dislike or prejudice of trans people. You can help by accepting that we're all different, that we all want, and indeed deserve to be loved. And I want to leave you with amazing words from Harvey Milk, a gay rights activist campaigner who was murdered in 1978. Words that inspired me to be a trans rights activist by replacing the word gay with trans. Harvey said, "We must continue to speak out, and most importantly, every gay person must come out. As difficult as it is, you must tell your immediate family, you must tell your relatives, you must tell your friends, if indeed they are your friends. You must tell your neighbours, you must tell the people you work with, you must tell the people in the stores you shop in. And once they realise that we are indeed their children, that we are indeed everywhere, every myth, every lie, every innuendo will be destroyed once and for all." Thank you very much.
The last 2 years that I've been at Steph's place have been pretty bewildering, if I'm honest. We've proved that the CAS review have deliberately discriminated against the trans community, excluding us from the governance and decision-making processes in that so-called independent review. We also found that there have been 0 complaints made to NHS trusts about trans women on single-sex wards, exposing misinformation from a certain peer of the realm. And we revealed that the Care Quality Commission are putting trans people's lives at risk by leaving the gender identity clinics to run themselves without any oversight, by failing to inspect any adult GIC other than the Tavistock and Portman since the CQC started operating in 2008. And then we have the Equality and Human Rights Commission. Evidence of the EHRC working hand in hand with trans hostile hate groups and individuals, defending hateful beliefs, enabling the abuse of our community to continue unabated, opposing GRA reform in Scotland without any evidence of issues, because they couldn't be bothered to look for any, insisting trans people being excluded from any ban on conversion practices, and worst of all, undermining and attempting to remove our existing rights. And then the EHRC claim that the truth that we have uncovered is unevidenced. They're breaking every professional standard and completely failing in their intended purpose. So much so that we submitted a 61-page document of evidence against the EHRC to the United Nations. It's almost unbelievable. But how did we get here? We got here thanks to the UK government, the UK press, the EHRC, the Charity Commission, the CQC, the GMC, the GICs and the NHS, all of whom are actively working against us, making it unsafe to be trans or non-binary in the UK today. We were once a tolerant and progressive nation, but under successive Conservative governments, we have dropped from 1st to 14th in the Rainbow Index, and hate crime, violent crime, discrimination and abuse of trans people have all dramatically increased in that time. Institutional transphobia infects every level of government and public service, poisoning everything it touches, starting right there in that building. None of the political parties nor public bodies are interested in dealing with the problem, and the government use it to deflect from their own innumerable failures, because it's easier to blame our community than it is to fix the multiple social and economic crises that they have created. It's not gone unnoticed. Both the Council of Europe and the International Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Trans and Intersex Association have noted the transphobic rot at the heart of the UK's institutions. Some areas of the NHS are trying. The new gender clinic pilots are having some success, but that's a half-step solution, 10 years too late, and they are already becoming overwhelmed. NHS England refuses to help or actively hinders progress, like with GPs, maternity or cancer care. They can't even be honest about their new gender dysphoria qualification, let alone take the steps needed to deal with conversion abuse practitioners within their own ranks. Instead, they invite them to conferences to hear what they have to say. Then there's the media. In my TEDx talk last year, I noted that the press were publishing 2 articles a day about trans people. That's now around 7 articles a day. The less said about the BBC, the better. Hiding behind claims of impartiality whilst promoting hate. The Independent Press Standards Organisation could easily improve things by extending the editorial code to protect minority groups rather than just individuals. But they refuse, enabling lies and hate instead. But there's hope. The hateful ideology currently in power is in complete opposition to public sentiment, despite a manufactured moral panic that is now in its 6th year. The majority of the public are largely supportive of us. On that metric alone, we have already won. And that is because we are visible. Visibility matters. I'm proud of who I am. And I'm proud of my community. And I'm proud of my allies. No matter how unsafe those in power think they can make things, they can never take that pride away. We are visible, we have our own voices, and we will not be silent about our mistreatment any longer. To them I say, We are here to stay. Get used to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.